Hello, I'm Allison From-Tapp from Spalding University's Counseling Center. I wanted to talk with you today about the benefits of doing some breath work. Now, to some people, that sounds sort of new agey, hokey, lots of things like that. Really, we walk around all day breathing. It's one of the most natural things that we do, and yet we don't really pay attention to it. And if we look to the science, we can see how paying attention to our breath can be extremely beneficial for us. So, most of us walk around all day breathing because that's what we do as people. And we don't really pay attention to what's happening with that breath. We don't pay attention to if it's slow or deep or fast, shallow, whatever it might be. If we do pay more attention, there's so many benefits that we can get. So if we think about wandering through our day, if we feel more anxious, we tend to breathe from higher in our chest. Our breath tends to be a little more shallow. So even if I say to you right now, take a deep breath, many of us would go, and you got a lot of air right up here in the top of your chest, but you weren't able to pull it down into your body. You weren't able to get as much oxygen as you can. So what we find with deep breathing is that it really does give us more oxygen. What the research has found is that it helps to increase the oxygen in our blood, which increases the oxygen that goes to our brain, which increases our ability to be able to think and to feel more grounded and relaxed. Even our puppy is going to come in here and join us for some breath work. So that's one thing, is really getting more oxygen in, that is really important for us. Another thing is that doing some of this breath work can decrease your blood pressure. So for anyone who has blood pressure that might be a little higher than what you want, or if you're on blood pressure meds, doing some of this deep breathing can be really beneficial for that. It may not fix all high blood pressure. We are absolutely not saying that, but it can definitely be a benefit. It is great for your heart. So first, if it's going to bring your blood pressure down, that's going to be good for your heart anyway. But in general, it's good for your heart when we get more of that rich oxygen into our blood. It will increase your vagal tone. If you don't know much about the vagus nerve, VAGUS, go and check it out. It is the most fabulous nerve in our body. Runs from your brain through most of your organs. And when we increase that sort of vagal activity, it helps to do things like to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. And so if you are, if you've been a science major or if you know something about that, the parasympathetic nervous system is what we call our rest and digest part of our body. So our sympathetic nervous system is the one that, if something scary happens and we're ready to run, that's what that is. When you feel really anxious and you feel like you got to do something, that's your sympathetic nervous system. But your parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest part of us, is the part that helps us to stay grounded, to pull us back down when we feel anxious, to slow us down, and allows us to relax. So that's another great benefit of some of this deep breathing, is that it will engage that part of our body. So if you're in a moment where you're feeling anxious and there's nothing you can do about that anxiety. Let's say you have a test. You've already studied, you know as much as you can know, you still feel anxious, or you're just out in the world and you're feeling some anxiety. Maybe you don't know why, but there's nothing else that you can really do in that moment, but you can breathe. So some of that breathing will start to help you to feel a little more relaxed. Now, this will not always help immediately. One of the things that we tell people who are just starting to meditate or just starting some sort of practice along with their breath is that it is like a muscle. And when you go to work out your muscles, they're not going to be bigger and more toned the very next day. So it's a thing just like your muscles that you have to practice all the time in order for it to be really beneficial. So if you are practicing breath work throughout the week, you will get really good at it, and you will learn and you will train your body to actually start to relax, so that then when you get into situations that are more anxiety provoking, you'll actually be able to engage those pieces and then be able to relax more. So with that, we're going to do just a very short piece of breath work. So we're just going to take about 2 minutes to do what I call the extra long exhalation. This is one of those pieces of breath work that really engages that vagus nerve. And there's a lot of research about that, so definitely go and look that up. This one is really easy. You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to feel like you're meditating. You don't have to do any of that. You don't even have to be in a terribly comfortable position, although that absolutely helps. So normally I say when we're getting into any kind of meditation, or if we're going to sit for a while and do some breath work, I would say get into a comfortable position with your feet on the floor, hands in your lap. For this one, you can absolutely do that, but you can do this when you're driving your car. Keep your eyes open. You can do it when you're standing in line at the grocery store. You can do it anywhere. So, all you have to do is take a deep breath, and this is going to be a belly breath, and I'm going to have another video that's going to be just on belly breaths. But when I say belly breath, you can put your hand below your chest, right around where your diaphragm is. And your diaphragm is just the very bottom of your rib cage. And when you take a belly breath, that part of your belly is going to expand. So your chest isn't going to come up. You're just going to expand your belly. So you take a deep belly breath, and usually that's for about 4 seconds. It absolutely depends on the person. For you, it might be 3, or it might be 5 or 6. So wherever you are is absolutely fine. The most important part of this is getting the belly breath, and then when you exhale, it's going to be about twice as long as your inhalation. So for me, usually I will inhale for about 4 seconds and exhale for 7 to 8 seconds. So I'll just show you that. Inhale to 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, inhale to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And for a bit of dramatic effect, I did let my shoulders go up a little bit since you can't really see my belly expanding. So just try that some more. You can do that 2 or 3 times a day for just 2 or 3 breath cycles. So again, 2 or 3 in and out, extra long exhalation, and just 2 or 3 times randomly during the day. The more you practice that, the more that your body is going to be used to that, and the better it will actually work for you in the moments that you feel anxious. Thank you so much for listening, and come back for more breath work.